Given access to scientific media of any sort within the past 17 years, one would likely be aware of the genetic process referred to as cloning. While cloning does occur in nature under various circumstances, such as a plant cloning itself when it has not been cross-pollinated, cloning to which the geneticists refer undertakes an unnatural demeanor. Biotechnical cloning would be employed to create a human being which is genetically identical to another human being. This has sparked a discussion among politically aware individuals as to whether or not cloning humans would be ethically or socially moral. To further understand cloning, the process is a form of genetic engineering in which a partial nucleus, referred to as haploid, of a surrogate mother's egg is extracted and replaced with a full nucleus, referred to as diploid, of a living somatic cell of the one whom you wish to clone, and then birthed to a surrogate mother. To picture this, imagine a woman had a box which fits 2 books inside. She has 1 book in the box, and she is looking for a tall man with 1 book who will share his said book. The short man walks up with 2 books. When the woman is distracted, the man takes her book out of her box, throws it away, and places both of his books in her box. The woman reads the 2 books in the box as if one of the books was hers, and she lives a merry life. The woman's book represents the haploid gamete. The woman's box represents the egg. The tall man's book would be the other possible haploid gamete. And the short man with 2 books represents the geneticist who places the nucleus of the desired cloned individual in the woman's egg, creating a diploid zygote. Surprisingly enough, some people don't think this is the greatest idea that anyone has ever thought of, claiming it's unethical for the short man to have tried to break the rules in the first place. The scientists shouldn't play God. Or that more times than not, the woman will reject the books. The egg will reject the nucleus. Or the books would be entirely misinterpreted by the woman. The child would undergo ghastly genetic mutations and likely not survive long enough to be born. I wish to delve into the arguments for and against cloning humans. Justification for postponing the progress of a scientific study proves more prevalent than one might imagine. As a society, our passion for empathy and caution most often outweighs that of our wish to be more advanced. For example, stem cell research is largely set back by the party which does not wish to terminate a potential life. Cloning is a wonderful example of a debate where playing God becomes relevant. When debating ethics, few discussions do not involve religion, especially that of Christianity. The religious arguments are on the basis that God, and not man, should have control over the life and characteristics of a person. From Job 1:21, "The Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away." The inherent sanctity of human life is of great importance to this party, and, frankly, I feel as though that's worth respecting. As for the other people in the world who seem to have a set of ethics of their own, the process of cloning animals has not yet been perfected, and if this practice follows through, it may result in the vandalism of thousands, maybe millions, of viable human eggs. The first and most famed cloned animal ever born was Dolly the sheep. She was successfully cloned in 1997. After 277 attempts. Only 30 of these attempts included the division of the fertilized egg, and only 9 of these divided eggs actually developed into pregnancy. Only one of these 9 was not genetically mutated enough to die at birth, and that one was Dolly. Because the sheep who was cloned was already middle-aged, Dolly only lived half the lifespan of the typical sheep. This is because the age of the transplanted nucleus has already progressed along with the donor. You can already consider the implications of this animal maltreatment. But what if this experiment had been a human trial? Imagine 276 human eggs discarded, 9 embryos so malformed that they couldn't even make it to birth. All for one child who will die early after being exploited for his or her astounding achievement in being born, and having lived a life with an inferiority complex for being the only human being who is not unique. Cloning does provide many benefits to humanity, however. While cloning may be seen in just a science fiction manner in which one might be best friends with a long-dead celebrity, or the ability to be in more than one place at the same time, cloning aims more toward medical progression. The timely advancement in this field is greatly held back by the aforementioned moral implications. Cloning could provide those with damaged organs or cells with a new opportunity. Cloning an organ would be more effective than a transplant because the organ cloned would be identical to the genetic identity of the recipient. This is most useful because it would reduce the chance that the host would reject the foreign organ. The ability to clone organs would also alleviate the need for an organ donor. According to research done in 2013 by organdonor.gov, over 121,000 people worldwide were on the waiting list for an organ. And this far outweighs the 14,000 available donors, including all registered, living and deceased. Cloning will provide a new opportunity for these 121,000 people and hope for future generations. Along with full organ transplants, tissue can be renewed through cloning, so a damaged organ can be repaired without the need for a transplant. The process potentially proves incredibly useful for repairing damaged brain cells, for no donor can provide identical brain cells to the recipient. This will not only decrease the waiting list even further, but it may pave the way toward a healthier generation of human beings. Cloning may also provide new hope to sterile couples who wish to raise a child of their own. By adapting research done toward cloning, a sterile couple may beget a child into a generation with healthy organs. Aside from the many people on Earth who will live their lives due to cloning, the research will also provide great amounts of tangible scientific information pertaining to cell biology. New medications may be created as a result of this newfound information. This new information may be taught to the healthy organ-bearing students of tomorrow, along with the 12 or 13 identical individuals who will sit in class alongside them. When questioning the ethics of a situation, it's important to understand whom the situation will affect. If the study of cloning does not come into practice, the human embryos and eggs will likely be spared a grim future, and conservative individuals will be relieved that they have not upset their deity, and will be spared of plagues and locusts. If the study does come into practice, we will likely enter a new, healthier, smarter age of humanity. The question is this: which is more valuable? The potential life of an embryo and the sanctity of religious teachings, or the healthy life of hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of human beings of future generations? Personally, I feel as though it's ungodly to manipulate the evolution of man. It was not intended by nature that a human be cloned, even if it were to just be an organ of this human. Not only does modern society suffer from overpopulation, but to add a class of identical clones to the mix would likely result in unruly social mishap and an accelerated pace at which the Earth's limited resources would be depleted. Thank you.